Podcast City Network.
This is Final Score, your number one podcast for sports news. Here are your hosts, Chris and Kevin.
Hey guys, welcome to another exciting episode of Final Score, episode 75. That's right, we are 3/4 of the way to 100. That's so crazy to say that for Final Score. It's been a crazy 2-year ride because our 2-year anniversary actually is coming up this month. So we definitely have some things we're going to talk about on this episode as well that I didn't even listen to the outline. So sorry, Kevin, you don't even know about this. But at the end of the day, it's going to be really, really exciting. But I can't have Final Score without the great co-hosts we bring on here, including the man, the myth, the legend, the badass himself, Kevin Wathen. How you doing, bud?
Doing good. It's been a roller coaster of a weekend as far as football goes.
Oh, yeah.
Getting the win. I want to give a shout out to the boys I coach in high school, Providence, getting the win over Father Lopez this weekend on the road.
Yeah.
And then turn around and watch UCF just shit the bed.
Oof.
In the best terms possible. Tulsa's got her upper hand. I don't know why. I don't know how, but sloppy game in Orlando. But then turn around, and if you notice, there's some dark circles under my eyes watching the Rapidos game. That game, I think, kicked off at 2 a.m., finished up about 4 a.m., so I'm running on minimum sleep. But we got this. We got this. We're good.
Bro, that just sounds like pain. No sleep and UCF lost. Like, that just sounds bad.
Yeah.
Oh, man, but we'll definitely talk about that UCF game later. That one, that was crazy. But to make sure to keep up with all things Final Score, you have to follow us on social media at PCN Final Score on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. Go on each, give us a like, give us a follow, invite your friends, share us with everybody you know, because we really try to bring the very best that we can, and we just feel like everybody should know about it. So help us out. Give us that share. But at the end of the day, at PCN Final Score is the main part you got to remember for all of it. But it is now time for the Rugby Review. What you got for us,
And
bud?
what a weekend it was. Telstra Premiership Finals week number 1, and there was some amazing matchups, including the one I just got done watching not too long ago. But we kick off things with the Panthers taking down the Sydney Roosters 29-28. One hell of a game, just back and forth the entire time. You would think going into this finals week that the Panthers were just going to run away with it the way their offense was moving, but the Roosters hung tough this entire game, but unfortunately come away with the 1-point loss in that one. We turn our attention to the Raiders and the Sharks. The Raiders 32 over the Sharks 20, so that was a huge win by the Raiders, but again they were the favorites in that matchup. Chris, third game of our finals weekend, Storm coming out victorious over the Eels, 36-24. Storm keep rolling.
That's right.
And then, like I said, I finished on a high note today. I'm not even going to watch the Lions game. I'm just going to hang my hat on the Rapidos winning this morning. Rapidos big winners, 46-20 over the Knights. It looked like troublesome early on in the game. The Knights jumped out to an early 14-0 lead, but the Rapidos kept working their way through the sets, and they ended up taking a slight advantage going into halftime at 20-14, and then they finished strong, and it looks like the Knights just kind of gave up towards the end because the Rapidos put in a lot of tries there at the end, too, by Alex Johnston. You had, I don't even want to try to pronounce his name, our forward, number 13, putting in 2 tries himself. And that leads us into finals week number 2, which is going to kick off next Friday, October the 9th. We have the Roosters taking on the Raiders. And from this point on, week 2, all the way up to the end, it is single elimination now. We've gone through the first round. We had the Panthers and the Storm that move on. They get a bye week this upcoming weekend. So the Roosters take on the Raiders Friday morning. If you guys want to wake up to watch that match, it'll be on NRL.com. It starts at 4:50 a.m. on Friday morning. And then the Eels taking on my Rapidos loudest, oldest, proudest, all those things, Saturday morning at 4:50 a.m. So we got a tougher matchup against the Eels, but hopefully we can take care of business and stay in the winning circle. On the domestic side, USARL, not many updates except there wasn't many updates on Saturday, except I just got an email this morning from the head coach of the USA Hawks saying there will be a game here in Jacksonville. Jacksonville is hosting a game, and we're going to be able to play some rugby league on October the 24th. So obviously they're still trying to get all the details, all the logistics figured out for this one, but the Jacksonville Axemen will be taking the field October the 24th. So more details to follow on that. Mike Brogan from Lakeland also told me to give a shout out to the Masters Rugby League that is kicking off. I will be a part of that in a couple years. Apparently you have to be 35 years or older to play. So it's a lot of guys that have retired that just kind of want to get a kick in here and there. They'll probably be holding about 1 or 2 matchups a year. So Masters Rugby League, they just formed it this year along with Women's Rugby League here on the domestic front. So USARL is not only men's going forward, it'll be men's and women's and Masters Rugby League. So I'm looking forward to that here in a couple years.
Oh, man, that's going to be exciting. But I feel like you're trying to take advantage of the situation, being the young man on campus at that point.
Oh, as soon as I turn 35, my birthday, as soon as I turn it, I'm hitting the field, dropping up the boots.
Oh, gosh, not you. Look at you. Oh, my gosh. This guy. But you know what? You're also doing some other pretty awesome stuff, including Wathen Fitness. What can you tell us about that?
We are doing a lot over here. So we got an online fitness group. I know times are hard with COVID and everything going on. A lot of people are kind of nervous about going to their gyms, or maybe they want to supplement their gym workouts with some core strength. So what I offer with the online fitness platform is only $10 a month. You can sign up for the online fitness program. You can message me at wathenfitness@gmail.com. That's Wathen, WATHEN, fitness, FITNESS @gmail.com. You can also reach me at my cell, 904-325-5588. I am NASM certified, National Academy of Sports Medicine for personal training. Do it all over here. I'm doing it all. So $10 a month, you cannot beat that for certified personal training and nutritional advice. And I do one workout, one nutritional tip per day. So you're getting 30 days worth of workouts. You're getting 30 days worth of nutritional advice. And it's helped out a lot of people. So we hope to grow this thing.
That's going to definitely be awesome. And I know I'm a part of it as well. Definitely enjoying it and seeing the camaraderie there. Everybody coming together, trying to help one another. Really great stuff, man. Really love what you guys are doing over there. But we got to talk about something that happened this past Thursday. And that was Thursday Night Football. Because the Broncos came out and honestly, it looked like it's just possibly be a back and forth kind of game. The Broncos just ended up, I think, surviving more just because Sam Darnold could barely get a ball thrown into the end zone. He was able to rush one in, but the defense is the only thing that kept the Jets in this game. The Broncos, though, were trying to give it away. Ripien coming in, throwing 3 interceptions. It's a crazy game. But Broncos ended up taking it 37-28. But one thing I do want to point out here, Melvin Gordon does look really good. 23 carries, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns. Honestly, I think he's starting to get back to form, man. Doing it with the Broncos, it might be the Broncos saving grace. What do you think?
Yeah, that kind of ticked me off. I had Melvin Gordon, and I put him on my bench. Like we said, pregame, I was like, pre-show, I was like, I kind of feel iffy about playing guys off of injury. I'm like, I'm going to sit Melvin Gordon out this week, and then he rips off 2 touchdowns. Like, yeah. Come on now.
That's absolutely crazy, man.
This was probably the worst. This was probably the worst Thursday night game, though, on the schedule. Looking forward and looking at the games we already delivered on Thursday night. Obviously, the game prior, the Jags, who'd they take? The Dolphins. See, I'm already trying to forget it because it was such an awful game by the Jags. That game was hyped up, obviously, because of Minshew Mania here and Ryan Fitzpatrick, the Fitzmagic. That game didn't deliver like it should, but on paper it looked good. But the Broncos-Jets, I mean, there was no – I maybe watched 5-10 minutes of this matchup, mainly stuck to the highlights there at the end. They got to be putting better games on Thursday night because this is awful. And how long are they going to go with this Gase experiment up there in New York.
That was going to be my next question.
At some point, you just got to cut ties with him and find somebody else. Find somebody that can run this organization, because the Jets are woeful. I mean, they might go 0-16 this year.
Well, what's crazy when you look at it, too, is that a lot of people were saying around the sports journalism world that this could have been the make or break game for him to keep his job. And in my opinion, I think he needs to be booted. The defense is what saved you. Sam Darnold is not the quarterback he's heralded to be. 23 of 42, 230 yards, no touchdowns. The guy, though, but he had 6 carries for 84 yards and a touchdown. But that just shows it's not because, oh, he's a great athlete. No, it's because he was running for his damn life, because the offensive line can't stop anybody. The offense is honestly just a ridiculously horrible shell of itself. It has good pieces, but none of it comes together. It's not well managed. Play calling is horrid. It's top to bottom just bad. And Gase needs to be given his papers and sent on his way.
Yeah, he didn't do a good job in Miami, so why did you expect him to do a good job in the same division?
Yeah.
Like, come on now. That was a horrible decision by the management up top. There is some bright spots, though, on the Jets. So you have Jamison Crowder, 7 receptions, 114 yards, 14.9 average per catch. I mean, there's a bright spot of your offense right there. Jeff Smith as well, putting up 7 receptions for 81 yards. So there is some bright spots, but like you said, Sam Darnold's running for his life. 6 carries, 84 yards,
and he got
one
sacked
touchdown on that.
And he got sacked 6 times.
Yeah, he should not be the leading rusher on that offense.
Yeah, by a long shot. When you have Frank Gore back there, come on.
Yeah, Frank Gore at 40 years old or however old he is.
809. I don't know who's counting, but at the end of the day, he has 13 carries, 30 yards. That's a 2.3 average. That is horrible. So it's, I don't know. The Jets need to figure something out, and they need to figure it out quick. But I have to agree with you.
That average reminds me of Fournette when Fournette was with the Jags. It was like 2.6 from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it was horrible. Horrible.
Yeah.
But one thing,
he goes to Tampa and starts ripping off those long runs for the Bucks.
Like, out of nowhere. Actually showing he can run over people. You know why? It's because I think he gave up on the Jags, honestly. I think he just completely gave up on the Jags. And when he finally got with a team that had all this star power with Tom Brady and Gronk and Mike Evans and all this kind of stuff, that he finally decided he wanted to start playing football again. So, I don't know.
But those players have shown that they cannot face adversity. The slightest bit of adversity, and that train is going down. There's too many egos in that locker room for it to stay together.
Yeah, I have to agree on that one. But that's a whole bunch of craziness. But I have to agree with you on the Thursday Night Football thing. NFL needs to figure this out. We just had an 0-3 team versus an 0-3 team on Thursday Night Football to kick off the weekend of football. And that's not how you do it. Like, you need to get some matchups that are actually going to be noteworthy, that people actually want to watch. Oh, who would have thought? You know, but at the end of the day, this is what we got. Thanks, NFL. Let's take a look at this week's matchup for the weekend, because there's a lot of games that ended up being either postponed, some that were threatening to be postponed because of COVID testing. If you haven't heard the big news as of right now, Cam Newton, the quarterback for the New England Patriots, has tested positive for coronavirus and is obviously not going to be playing this weekend. This has caused the game to be postponed against the Chiefs. Now, what's crazy about this is that this game, they don't know for sure if it's even going to be played this week. They're hoping for a Monday or a Tuesday game. They're waiting for testing back and hoping that it's going to go the route of what the Saints and the Lions just dealt with, because we had one Saints player, a single Saints player, their fullback, test positive for coronavirus, was retested and came back negative. So we had a false positive that almost ruined this game. So, you know, I know you're not going to watch it, Kevin, but
please positive test, so we can postpone this. We got our win against Arizona. Let's end it on a high note. Just end the season. Beat Arizona. Cancel all the rest of the games. We have COVID.
That's right.
Lions.
We got one in a row.
Lions winning streak.
No. See, the Eagles have to play though, because we have to actually get a win and not be the seller of the NFC East. I mean, hey,
the second 0-16 team. Do them and the Jets play this year?
Oh my God, I hate you so much right now. But at the end of the day, it's going to be interesting to see if the Pats and the Chiefs even play. We already saw the Steelers-Titans matchup. There's supposed to be a 1:00 game today, already postponed as well because of multiple positive tests in their organization, mainly with the Titans. So it's just a crazy runaway train, it feels like now, because we're seeing now little tests pop up here, pop up there, all kinds of things happening. I didn't even change it in the outline because it was so recent. They even shifted the 4:05 game between the Giants and the Rams, or no, sorry, not the Giants and the Rams. They shifted the 1 o'clock game, between the Bears and the Colts to 4:25 to try and make up for the Pats and the Chiefs. Like, the NFL, I feel, is scrambling right now. What do you think?
Yeah, they are, but they're going through all their precautions and the CDC guidelines that they need to. So it's better than just saying, hey, somebody's sick, let's kick this thing off. I mean, they have all the protocols in place. They're using those protocols now. I feel like the fans are freaking out, especially me trying to manage fantasy football lineups, and I'm seeing postponements, I'm seeing cancellations. So if you guys see me pick up my phone at any point in the show, you'll know it's because I'm trying to change my horrible fantasy football team and scrape out a win this week.
Oh, same. Let me put this phone down. At the end of the day, though, it's just people ask me, why aren't you playing as many fantasy leagues as you normally do, Chris? Why can't you just go ahead and jump in this league, Chris? Come on, Chris. It's only $100. Yeah, you know why? Because I have no confidence that the season's even going to complete itself. So you know how many leagues I'm in this year? One league, because I had zero faith. You know how many leagues I was in last year? 8. The year before, 10. The year before that, 14. Not even going to lie.
I got a question for you.
All right.
Does Kelly run those leagues for you, or you run them?
No. Kelly's the most fair weather fan there is. So she loves her Crimson Tide and her Steelers, but she doesn't watch games. Come on now. She's that fair weather. Let me throw on my shirt real quick fan. I hope she's not watching, because she will come in and smack me later.
You're going to have like a shoe fly across the room and hit you in the head.
I would doubt it. She got a good arm too. So anyways, no. I actually run them. I win most of the time, but like right now, I'm 2-1 in my fantasy league because, I had players on my bench go off that if I would have started, I'd be number 1 in the league. But that's all besides the point. But this week's
It's early.
But this week's matchups are all going to be interesting. Who knows how far the COVID thing is going to go and impact everything, though. I was going to have us go through and actually do predictions, but half these games might end up canceled, so we're not even going to bother this week. But with a lot of these games, there's not any real huge notable matchups.
No. Hold this up. Hold the phone. We're not going to do them because the predictions last week, I think I won the predictions last week.
I don't know what to talk about.
If we go back and actually watch it, and I think you did horrible in the predictions last week.
COVID, man. 2020.
Just blame it all on COVID.
Yeah, just blame it all on COVID. It makes it easy.
Let's at least pick. We got to pick like the Phillies and the Jags. And
yeah, let's do the key games. Let's do the big game. So
okay.
we know all one big matchup, no matter what, is going to be Colts-Bears. That's a 2-1 versus a 3-0 at Soldier Field.
Yep.
Now, this is now the Nick Foles show, though. Even after starting 3-0, Mitchell Trubisky has been benched. So, excuse me, this is a very interesting turn of events, but not too surprising because, again, it's Mitchell Trubisky. I think my over-under on this was 4 games, so I think I'm already ahead of the game here. So we're going to
see Nick Foles come into that game last week? Like,
bro,
holy crap.
Bro.
He looked like Philadelphia, Nick Foles.
It was 2017 all over again, man. Like, it was crazy. So
I am big time rooting for this man. Like, I don't think he got a fair shake down here in Jacksonville. I am rooting for Nick Foles. Come on, Foles. Even though you play for the rivals, I hate the Bears. Let me put that out there. I cannot stand anything from Chicago. Okay, Lions all the way, Detroit all the way. But Nick Foles, I'm rooting for you, buddy. Keep on slinging that ball.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm backing him too. I have nothing against the Bears. We broke their hopes and dreams in the playoffs not too awfully long ago, so I feel okay. But I think Foles is gonna go out, and I think he's gonna beat the Colts, and I think he's gonna show why they ended up trading for that stupidly massive contract. So definitely see how that one works out. Who do you think actually takes this one?
I'm not sure. I'm kind of on the fence on this one, just because there is a lot of injuries on the Bears side. They have Khalil Mack, obviously, still struggling through an injury. He's questionable. We have Mario Edwards Jr., defensive end. We have Tariq McManus. Their safety is out. Josh Woods, their linebacker, questionable. So a lot of question marks. If these guys play, especially Khalil Mack, you guys know the difference he makes when he's on the defensive side of the ball.
Oh, yeah.
The Bears will take this thing, but it is going to be close. I think Vegas put the line at Colts +3 in this one. But I'm going to take the Bears. I'm going to take the Bears at home. I think Foles does his thing.
Nice. I have to agree. All right, now looking at some other matchups, I have to touch on one because I know I have some butthurt people out there that are Dallas fans that are going to get all butthurt if I don't mention this game. But the Cleveland Browns at 2-1 traveling down to Dallas, AT&T Stadium, to take on the Cowboys at 1-2. Cowboys fans, you're 1-2. I don't care how it came about. Guess what? You're 1-2. Except the fact that, oh yeah, you're 1-2. You're not the best team in the world. Okay, so Ezekiel Elliott getting a "feed me more" tattoo on his stomach doesn't change anything. But the Cleveland Browns are actually a talented team, and oh yeah, they got a defensive end over there. What's his name? Oh yeah, Myles Garrett, who literally will do anything to take you out, including doinking a helmet off your head. So don't think that he won't do the same thing to Dak Prescott. All right. So I feel, though, that Cleveland has a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They've been disrespected, even though they are 2-1. They are seen as a weak 2-1. But I think the Browns are going to go into Dallas, and they're going to beat the Cowboys. Calling it now.
Ooh, wow. Really?
Yep. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. But the Browns are going to win this. It's going to be by less than a touchdown. But they're going to win it.
I think Dallas is favored by 3.5 in this matchup. But the Browns have not played anybody. Washington football team, I think the only win that Washington football team has is against your Eagles, right?
Sadly, yes.
Yes. They beat the Bengals in a tough matchup. That game was exciting to watch against Joe Burrows, but that was close as well. And the Bengals are terrible team. I think they're 0-2-1. Mm-hmm. Dallas played Seattle really tough last weekend. I mean, they could have came out of Seattle with a victory on there. They only losing by a touchdown, and then obviously they're come from behind win against the should be. I'm just shaking my head about Atlanta. Like Atlanta, it doesn't matter how big the lead is, you're not going to keep it. So I'm going to take the Cowboys in this matchup. I think the Cowboys win by a touchdown and even up their record to 2-2.
I will definitely see. I really hope the Browns win this so I can come on next week and just be like, ha! Gosh, it's going to be so great. All right, so in some of these other games that we have, obviously we have Steelers and Titans, and we don't know exactly when this is going to be played, but this is the only battle of 3-0 teams that we have taking place. So with this, it's going to be an excellent matchup if the game happens. Once it does happen, though, I do think the Titans' defense is going to show up real good against Big Ben. Big Ben, honestly, is having a resurgence and is looking like his old form, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. You're still breaking in a rookie wide receiver as well that's supposed to be your AB replacement. And the Titans, they have Derrick Henry. So, sorry about your luck. I think the Titans take this. It will be very, very close. I think it will be at a very exciting game, but I think the Titans take this one, and it's going to be by the narrowest of margins, like 2-3 points.
Yeah, they said it's postponed, and when it's going to take off, who knows? But I think 3 more Titans players tested positive yesterday from the last time I looked at it. So hopefully everyone's all right. Hopefully, I wish everyone a speedy recovery in this one, everyone who's been testing positive. But I'll go with you on this one, actually. I'll take the Titans in this matchup just because of the Yuli factor, Derrick Henry there.
Absolutely, and it is 100% confirmed now. The Saints-Lions game is happening, so that test came back negative again, so everything should be good, and we should be seeing the Lions have to meet their maker. Oh, I mean, play a game. Sorry. But in some of our other games, we do have the Ravens taking on the football team. We already know what's going to happen there. Seahawks taking on Dolphins. We know what's going to happen there. Some of these games are really going to be snoozers, or the snooziest of snoozers. You got the Vikings and the Texans, the battle of 2 totally overhyped teams. Houston, though, I feel has just had a bad shakedown because they have played some of the best teams in the league.
Their schedule is brutal.
It is really brutal, and I feel for the Texans because they are much more talented than their record shows, and I think they're going to prove that against the Vikings, and I think they're going to handle the Vikings pretty good, and I think it's going to be by 2 scores.
That's what happens when Bill O'Brien ships away all your talent.
Yeah, that's true. And we don't have D-Hop anymore or anything like that. But, yeah, you still got Deshaun Watson with his big contract and, Will Fuller. So, we'll see what happens.
We got to talk about one game, Chris. Otherwise, I'm going to be in the doghouse tonight. We got to talk about the Jags.
All right, let's talk about the Jags.
We got to talk about Chelsea's Jags. Taking on the Bengals. Jags 1-2 at Cincinnati, 0-2-1. They're at Paul Brown Stadium. Do you think Joe Burrow gets his first win?
I think
Look, he's not even paying attention. He's like zoned out.
No, because now I got people blowing me up about stuff I've been saying. Everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, postponed games." Yeah, well, I gotta try and fix things. I'm trying to win. But at the end of the day, no, I think Joe Burrow could get his first win. Honestly, if he's gonna do it against any team, Jacksonville is probably gonna be a prime candidate because Jacksonville is still claiming to be in a rebuild, even though they've been able to play pretty decent with Minshew at quarterback. So I think it'll definitely be a little bit of a shootout. But I think Joe Burrow, with how he's been just slinging that rock, and with the two talented receivers he has, I think that Bengals will take this one. But I think it's going to be, again, super close.
Yeah, it all depends on how Minshew bounces back after obviously losing that game in horrendous fashion against Miami there on Thursday Night Football. We are having a lot of trouble at the place kicking position. Steve Hoska, we actually signed, and then he got hurt first practice out with us. So
Wow.
Trying to keep a kicker in Jacksonville is seems to be problematic these years. And also Brandon Linder, our center, is still out. So a lot of question marks on the Jags. I hate to lose a center. That is your focal point of the offense.
Oh yes,
and
I know.
I've seen it many a times. If the second string center comes in there, it can be a mess real quick.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully Minshew can sling this thing around. It's definitely going to be a high scoring game because we know on both sides of the ball that it's very young teams. I think this is the youngest matchup this weekend. Cincinnati at the Jags, but got to go with the hometown team. I got to support Jacksonville, so I think Jacksonville wins by a field goal.
Man, I'd be the guy running up in there just being like,
I'm a man. I'm 40.
so it's all those youngins running around in there. But yeah, I think it's still going to be an exciting game, no matter how you look at it, no matter which side you root for. And I know Chelsea's probably going to want to throw something at me just because Bengals. But hey, we'll see what happens. I can't support the Jags, so.
Yeah, right. Check your phone.
Gotta check. Hold on. Gotta check my phone. No. But yeah, with everything we got going on, there is one more game I want to make sure that we highlight because it's kind of surprising how these two teams have kind of come out the gate. The Buffalo Bills at 3-0, traveling to the Las Vegas Raiders at 2-1. I think this is going to be a very exciting game. The Bills, I think, are legit. However, I think the Raiders are more legit, and I think the Raiders are going to take this one by a field goal.
Raiders, Derek Carr, I got him. But here's the difference maker. If Josh Allen can keep on throwing the ball and keep taking care of that football like he has been, and they got explosive receivers. Shout out to Gabe Davis from UCF looking like a seasoned veteran last week with that little toe touch there on the sideline. So Bills are – this is going to be a very good football game. If you don't watch any football this weekend, make sure you sit down and watch this game, Bills and Raiders. I think the Raiders take it, though, at home. I think it's too much of an ask for the Bills to go across the country and win this football game. They haven't really been tested yet, the Bills. So this is going to be a very big test for them if they can overcome this. I'm looking at the AFC East champions, Buffalo Bills.
Ooh.
Putting it out there.
Man, putting it out there hard. I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out. This is COVID, so who knows? For all you know, Miami might come back and win the whole thing. So who knows?
If they put
don't get excited,
field,
Dolphins.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But you know what isn't a maybe? Our awesome sponsors, the Jacksonville Saints. Because we're going to take a moment right now to give a shout out to them for being a great sponsor of Final Score. Make sure to check out the Saints on Facebook at facebook.com/JacksSaintsUSAFL for all the latest news, practice times, and game info. And don't forget to hit the like and follow button while you're there. You can also contact them directly by emailing the team at JacksonvilleSaintsUSAFL@gmail.com for more information. But at this time, we're going to switch gears up, and we're going to talk about something that just got underway, and that is the NBA Finals. The Lakers defeating the Heat 124-114. If you haven't seen it on our score ticker, man, Lakers already up 2-0 in the Finals. The Heat coming up lame, it seems like, trying to push away all the talk that they're hearing from all the critics, from all the media, and trying to tell everybody, 2-0 doesn't matter. We can come back and do this. However, with how Anthony Davis and LeBron James, especially Anthony Davis, who has combined for over 60 points in the first two games, it's hard to ignore the Lakers and what they're doing and on their march towards a 17th title. So It's absolutely crazy. Are you surprised at all by how this has turned out so far?
Break out the brooms. Sweep.
What?
4-0 sweep.
No.
Heat are not going to win a game in this matchup. LeBron is on a mission. Anthony Davis is on a mission. They are not losing a single game in this matchup. Lakers in 4.
Oh my gosh. I hope that doesn't happen just for the sake of competitiveness, but the Heat, I feel, are too talented not to take at least one game. I at this point, I had the Heat taking this possibly in 6, maybe even 7, but the Lakers are extremely talented, and it's hard to ignore the factor of Anthony Davis and LeBron James and what they bring to the entire game, not including everybody on the bench, too, that has been huge contributors, honestly. So it's really hard to look at this and not think a sweep could happen, but I just can't see it. I can't see it.
Yeah, break out the broom. Charles Barkley, you're right. Lakers in 4, and I hate to say that. I hate watching LeBron put up the championship trophy. I do want to point out to our listeners, though, how Chris seemed to glaze over the slide right past the Sunday Night Football game. Didn't even mention it. Didn't even bring it up. Go Niners.
You're killing me with this. Absolutely killing me with this. I'm just hoping we can get a win at some point. Oh my gosh. But
I mean, the Niners are on like their 3rd or 4th string, so maybe it's possible.
Maybe.
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
Niners.
Come on, we have one active wide receiver. His name's Greg Ward. Do you know who he is? No, you don't. So anyways, At the end of the day, the Lakers and Heat, we still have more games to be played. They won't play again until tonight at 7:30 p.m. So definitely make sure to check it out. It's gonna be crazy, honestly, because at this point, the Heat have to get a win if they want to try and stay relevant. Otherwise, they're going to be literally on the verge of elimination. So I know you're saying sweep, but I just don't see it happening. I think the Heat are going to probably not take this one, but maybe Monday's game or Tuesday's game, maybe. I don't know. Just so mad. I keep getting all my picks wrong. But still, when you look at the regular season matchups, though, the Lakers won both. They swept 2-0 during the regular season, defeating the Heat back in November, 95-80, defeating them again in December, 113-110. So maybe the Lakers just have the Heat's number this year. I don't know. But I know there's a lot of Heat fans that are really pissed off right now because of this. So definitely check out the game tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I believe it's on ESPN. So definitely go check it out. But you know who else you should check out? Who else should they check out?
This is the Jacksonville Rugby Football Club.
Boom.
We'd like to take time right now to thank the Jacksonville Rugby Football Club, Jacks RFC, and the Jacksonville Wolverines Youth Rugby for being a sponsor of FinalScore. Jacksonville Rugby Football Club is a Division III team in the state of Florida, a member of the Florida Rugby Union. You can find the Jacksonville Rugby Football Club on Facebook at facebook.com/JacksRFC, JAXRFC, or on the website at jacksrugby.org, JAXRUGBY.org. You can find out all things Jacksonville Wolverines Youth Rugby Team on Facebook at facebook.com/Jacksonville Youth Rugby. We know when football ends up, Aaron Church, the head coach of the Jacksonville Youth Program, would like to see all the football players switch over to rugby and stay in a contact sport for the spring. That's how we found success in the past, and that's how we'll find success in the future. And a lot of guys think I thought it as well. Everyone thinks they're a D1 athlete. Well, guess what? There's college scholarships to go play rugby in college and get your academics straightened out. So check out all things Jack's Youth Rugby. Check out all things men's division. If you're sitting around and just want to get a run in, it's a good sport and it's good camaraderie, nice family environment there. So shout out to the boys at Jack's Rugby Football Club and all they're doing around the community here in Jacksonville.
Absolutely. And if you haven't opened up your mind to rugby, you need to look at people and say,
gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
And watch you a little bit of rugby because it's honestly amazing. Absolutely amazing. So definitely great stuff to hear. And we know what else is great. MLB Playoffs. That's right. It hasn't been a complete train wreck, and we somehow have made it to playoffs. Even made it through the whole format of this new wild card round. We had 16 teams that made playoffs. It's absolutely insane. Thanks, COVID. But we're going to do a really quick run through of how the wild card round ended up wrapping up. It was only a 3-game series for each series. Most ended up wrapping up in 2 games. So a lot of them ended just Friday. So A lot of these series literally wrapping up because all the games are gearing up in the divisional round to be started on Monday or Tuesday. So a lot of quick turnaround and try and get these games pumped out. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to run down the AL first. We had the number 1 seed Tampa Bay Rays taking on the 8th seed Toronto Blue Jays, which Tampa ended up winning easily in a 2-0 sweep. We also had the Oakland Athletics as the 2 seed taking on the Chicago White Sox, the 7 seed. Oakland ended up taking that one 2-1. The Minnesota Twins 3 seed taking on the Houston Astros, which it's even funny they're even in the playoffs. But Houston ended up taking this one 2-0. I wonder how many signs they stole for that one. And then you had the number 4 seed Cleveland Indians taking on the 5 seed New York Yankees. And sadly, yeah, the Yankees won. So, yeah, 2-0. God, hate the Yankees. But what can you tell us about the NL?
The NL, the Dodgers taking on the Brewers. Dodgers number 1 seed, Brewers number 8. Los Angeles wins this easily in a runaway. Win the series 2-0. The Braves taking on the Reds. Braves the number 2 seed, Reds 7. Atlanta wins this series 2-0 easily as well. You have the Chicago Cubs, the 3 seed, taking on the Miami Marlins. Here was the upset in the NL as Miami wins this series 2-0 against the Cubbies. And then the Padres taking on the Cardinals. And the San Diego comes away winners 2-1 in this series. The shocker in this one is Miami Marlins taking against the Cubs, which were a 3 seed there. So that's kind of the shocker there in the NL. But I think the Braves run away with the NL as going forward.
No, they definitely
could. The Dodgers, for some reason, always find a way to screw things up when it comes to playoff time. So I think the Braves are going to come on top in the NL.
Yeah, especially if the Dodgers ever have to play the Red Sox in the World Series. Oops, did I say that? Anyways, the Padres, though, made history. I think it's been 20 or 22 years since they won a playoff series. So hats off to the Padres being able to make it happen against the Cardinals. Absolutely amazing work. So great to see them actually do something. But now we have the ALDS and NLDS round to deal with 5-game series, and we're going to look at our first game of the AL, which will be the Rays and the Yankees. Definitely not going to be any love lost in this series because if you remember, these two almost came to blows in a game not too in the near recent past. So it's going to be interesting. This game's going to be the whole series is going to be played in San Diego. Game will kick off tomorrow, 8 p.m. on TBS, so definitely make sure to check it out. What's our other AL game that we got?
We got the Oakland A's taking on the Astros in Los Angeles. It's kind of weird seeing these matchups taking place in other cities. But
I know.
Oakland, hopefully, come on, Oakland. The whole country's rooting for you. Any baseball fan in the country, at least, is rooting for you. Please take down the Astros. They don't even deserve to be in the playoffs. They should not be there. Game 1 first pitch tomorrow, October the 4th, and that first pitch is at 4 p.m. on TBS.
That's right. So definitely check that out. We're all rooting for Oakland. Please, Oakland. But
Oakland. Let's go A's.
Yeah, right. And in the NL, we have the LA Dodgers taking on the San Diego Padres, but in Arlington, Texas. Yeah, COVID. So definitely going to be interesting. The Padres side of happy you guys made it this far, but this might be where the buck stops. But the first pitch will take place Tuesday, October 6th on FS1 or on the MLB Network. Definitely make sure to keep your eyes glued on that one, on which it will be. They're expected to make the announcement either today or tomorrow, right before the series or all the series are supposed to start. So definitely keep your eyes peeled on that one. What do we got on the other side?
The Braves taking on the Miami Marlins. I like this matchup as well. It's going to be taking place in Houston. The Braves looking hot. Their offense is clicking on all cylinders. Game 1 is set for Tuesday, October the 6th. It's either going to take place on FS1 or MLB Network.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting matchup.
What do you think, Chris? Who advances to the ALCS and NLCS?
Ooh, gosh, this is so hard on so many levels, and I feel like I'm going to start with the NL because in the AL, I am way too biased given the teams that are there. So we're going to start in the NL. With the Dodgers and Padres don't stand a chance. Sadly, I think the Dodgers might end up sweeping them, taking this in 3 games, and advancing to the NLCS to meet the Atlanta Braves. But Miami, even though Miami has had all the troubles they've had this season, being the start of a lot of the COVID issues that we had in Major League Baseball this year, losing players left and right, all the trades, all the craziness they dealt with, for them to even be in this position is absolutely astonishing. And I think they're going to ride that a little bit, but maybe only for like 1 game, because I see Atlanta taking this in 4. So Braves, Dodgers, NLCS. On the AL side, I hate the Yankees so much. However, the Rays are kind of on a swing back themselves. It's hard to ignore the Yankees and what they bring to the table. Jesus, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I think the Yankees are going to steal this series against the Rays, and it's going to go all 5 games. Oh, God, that was so dirty to say. But the Yankees will.
Don't you say that.
Oh,
don't say that.
The,
Don't say that.
I can't say it. Anyways, the Oakland A's against the Houston Astros. Houston does not deserve to be there as well. Oakland, I think, will end up taking this series, and I think it will also go all 5 games. I think it'll be hell of a series. Houston is going to try and cheat their ass off to try and win this one, but Oakland will take it, and it'll end up being Oakland and that horrible team from New York in the ALCS. Ugh.
All right. So you got his rundown. That was hard. That was rough. I know that was rough for you.
That was rough.
Yeah.
But what do you think, sir?
I'm going to go to the NL side and start as well. I think the Braves take this one from the Marlins. Like I said before, their offense is clicking on all cylinders. You got Ozuna with 18 home runs on the season, batting .338 with 56 RBIs. I mean, come on now. Dude's a beast. And then you have Freddie Freeman right behind him, batting .341, and a slugging percentage of .640. Like, I mean, that's incredible. It doesn't seem like they get phased either, because I was watching one of their matchups in the earlier rounds, and they go down like 2 or 3 runs in the first inning, and they turn around and start inning 2, and they're up by 3 or 4 runs. So nothing seems to phase the Braves. I think the Braves move on in this one to face the Dodgers. So I think the Braves win this game, win this series in 4 games. I think they win it 3-1. And then they're going to take on the Dodgers, and the Dodgers will be on rest time because I think they sweep the Padres in that series. Padres, good on you on winning your first series, but I agree with Chris. The buck stops there. And then as far as the winner of the Dodgers and Braves, I think the Braves are going to take this one if they can keep that offense moving at all cylinders. Switching over to the AL, I have the Rays over the Yankees in 4 games. Hopefully that bodes well. The Rays seem to always play with a chip on their shoulder, especially when they're playing the Yankees. They like to see themselves, even though they're 1 seed. I like to think that they view themselves as the underdogs and going up against like David and Goliath, like the Yankees are this prestigious. They got the history, they got the tradition, and then going up against a ragtag bunch of, when in my opinion, underpaid baseball players in the Rays playing in a crappy stadium there in the Trop. But I think the Rays take it in 4, and they're going to meet the Oakland Athletics in the ALCS. I think Oakland has to go 5 games against the Astros, but they eventually take it. And then so you have the Rays versus the A's, and I think the Rays are the AL champions. So that would bring it to Rays, Braves for the MLB championship. And I think that the Rays will be holding the pennant. Tampa Bay, good on you. All your sports are clicking right now. You got the Bucks, you got the Rays, you got the Lightning. I mean, it's a great time to live in Tampa right now.
Well, as George DeMoya just commented in the comments section of our live video here on Facebook, said that all Lightning fans are mad at you now. So I'm sorry, Lightning fans, but I mean, I got to look at it unbiasedly, even though that was probably the most biased. Oh, God. I can't even do it. It just makes me want to puke. All right. So, but one thing you definitely need to go check out is all of our great content platforms that we have here for Final Score. So all you have to do, oh my gosh, it's still like the taste in my mouth. It's horrible. So definitely check out all our content platforms. You can find all of our audio offerings on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Podcasts, and our video portions on YouTube. All you have to do is go on any of those platforms, search for Final Score, one word, and give us a like and follow there. That way you never miss out on the latest content. But now it is time for some college football Week 5 action, and holy crap, there were so many upsets, and as I see you hiding your face behind that hat, it cannot hide the shame of the fact that UCF lost at home to Tulsa. Do you remember what we used to chant at that 2007 Conference USA Championship game when they played Tulsa?
Yep.
That's what they made UCF.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about it. I really don't. It was hard to watch. I am a a little bit upset with Josh Heupel right now because I think he is losing this football team. And a lot of people think I'm crazy because it's only one loss. But look at the penalties. We've led the penalty count. Georgia Tech, we led it in 19 penalties at ECU. And then just racking up the false start penalties again last night in just a horrible showing by UCF. I mean, if we keep playing like this, expect 3 or 4 losses on the season because you can't overcome all these penalties that keep on coming their way. I mean, you got to be disciplined. You got to be ready to play the game, and they were not. And Tulsa, good on them. Their quarterback hung in there. They got down early, but they came out swinging. And UCF, you just got to do better.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be – I mean, I'm a diehard UCF fan. Everyone knows that. But if you come out and play like that, I mean, you don't even deserve to be ranked.
Yeah, that was a garbage play by them. But you also got to give them credit as well. Tulsa really has had their number as of recently. Don't forget that they also beat you guys last year. So Tulsa's really come around as a program. So I don't think it's all just UCF making mistakes. I think it's also Tulsa closing the gap and trying to be another non-Power 5 team, to be the trendsetter, to be the top of the heap, so to speak. So I think it's just something that really UCF and Tulsa have been battling back and forth to try and be, the next Boise State, that next TCU that's able to come out there and be that team that, was a non-Power 5 team to actually do something. And like we said, starting back in 2007, they have been battling each other nonstop. So we'll see what happens. Give UCF a little more credit because at the end of the day, UCF wasn't the only one that had to deal with the upset bug, because we had all kinds of games and things happen that were absolutely astonishing, including the aforementioned TCU upending number 9 Texas 33-31, which included a freaky fumble on the 1-yard line by Texas. So you guys weren't the only one. You guys weren't the only one, but it's absolutely crazy to see Texas show why they don't belong in the top 10 yet again.
And I feel bad for the quarterback, Ellinger, because he goes out and throws for 4 touchdowns in this matchup and still loses the ball game.
Yeah, and it was absolutely crazy.
He's still on my Heisman radar, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely still on my Heisman radar.
Yeah, the guy is very, very talented. I don't know if he'll actually pull it off this year, given some of the other way players are playing, but the guy is definitely going to have to be in the talk and maybe even invited to, well, I don't know if they'll have a ceremony. Maybe it'll be virtual or something. I don't know. But
Zoom Heisman.
Yeah, Zoom Heisman. Hey. But another crazy game that we saw was number 16 Mississippi State come out completely flat against Arkansas, who hasn't won a conference game in 20 games. That is 2017, last time Arkansas actually had a conference win. And not only do they get a conference win, but they beat a ranked Mississippi State team to get it 21-14. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, go Pigs in that one.
Yeah.
Especially after Mississippi State knocks off LSU last weekend. This is a huge win for that program there in Arkansas. That just seems like there's been a coaching carousel taking place there for the past decade. So hopefully they gain a footing in the SEC and hopefully they pull away with a few more victories. But Mississippi State, that was a big one.
Absolutely. And then we had number 24 Pitt. I don't know if you necessarily call it an upset because I feel like NC State is a talented enough team to be able to get these kinds of wins. But NC State literally gutted this game out, winning by 1 point, 30-29 over number 24 Pitt. So Pitt definitely going to be falling out of the rankings after that one. And maybe we might see NC State rise up in there. But great to see them actually, get their program back on course. What do you think?
I was watching this game, and if you guys have not tuned in to watch the Pitt quarterback, he is phenomenal. Kenny Pickett out of Pitt goes 22 for 39 for 411 yards and 1 touchdown. He was also the rushing leader with 2 rushing touchdowns in this game. So heartbreaking for Kenny Pickett to lose this matchup by 1 point to NC State. But this is a good game back and forth.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It was. And I remember watching it and just being like, wow, like anybody could win this game. And it's crazy to see NC State come out on top. But the one game I think a lot of people are talking about right now, outside of UCF and Texas, was the fact that we saw Oklahoma lose back-to-back games for the first time in 20 years. 20 years since Oklahoma's lost back-to-back games. And they lost last week and then come in this week and lose to Iowa State 37-30. And I feel for Spencer Rattler, who he played a good game, 25 of 36, 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. But costly mistakes, including the interception near the end, right in the end zone, that I think pretty much sealed the fate for Oklahoma. And it's absolutely crazy game.
I'm a Iowa State fan when I'm watching Big 12 football. I mean, I'll root for Iowa State. They seem to do this every single year. So they obviously have good coaching up there in Iowa to knock off these guys day in or year in and year out. Coming away victorious on this one. I want to give a shout out to Breece Hall, the running back for Iowa State, coming up huge in this matchup. They leaned on him heavily, having 28 carries in the matchup. He runs for over 100 yards, 139 yards, and 2 touchdowns to take down Oklahoma. Iowa State's a team that you need to watch moving forward. They're 2-0 right now in the Big 12, so they may be our kind of Cinderella team that moves through the Big 12.
Oh, yeah, and this is the first time the Oklahoma Sooners have been 0-2 to start conference play since 1998. So this is huge, a huge blow to Oklahoma and their hopes of repeating as Big 12 champions. And, yeah, you can't count out Iowa State. And I felt bad for them given Notre Dame handled them in the bowl game at the end of last season. They opened the season with a horrible loss, and now starting to get things back rolling and now get a huge win. A huge fact, too, Iowa State has not beaten Oklahoma at home since 1960. 60 years since Iowa State overcame the Sooners at home. So honestly, this is a huge boom for their program, and I think this is definitely going to help them roll to a great season.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
And then the last upset of college football yesterday was SMU taking down Memphis.
Yes.
Memphis was only ranked 25, so it's not too big of an upset, but SMU 4-0 right now. The ranking, they're probably going to be ranked after this victory. They take down Memphis, a really good Memphis squad. And Shane Buechel is leading the charge out there. 45 pass attempts, 32 completions. He threw for 474 yards and 3 touchdowns in this matchup. If you have not seen the SMU quarterback, wow. That's all I have to say.
But also look at the receiver he was throwing it to. Reggie Robertson Jr. had 5 receptions. Listen to this. 243 yards and 2 touchdowns on 5 receptions. That's disgusting.
That's why I love watching American football. It's entertaining from whistle to whistle. I mean, you're getting high octane offenses going at each other. I would like for the defense to improve a little bit, but you're going to see a high scoring, explosive matchups anytime you watch a American football game. I mean, look at the American Championship we went to a couple years ago. I mean, unreal, just back and forth, both offenses exploding on that day.
Absolutely. Now, we did have a couple ranked versus ranked matchups, including number 2 Alabama taking on number 13 Texas A&M. Alabama, though, showing why they're Alabama and ended up winning this one 52-24. Absolute rout.
Yeah. I lost you for a second. Sorry. My wife is so amazing. She brought in like this cloche from Hilliard's Donuts down the street.
Oh, nice.
So I have this nice aroma taking place next to me.
No, that's a good distraction. It's a good distraction. It's okay. We're just talking about Bama, and, not too many care about Bama except Bama, so it's okay.
Oh, okay. It's good I snoozed on that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Bama, it doesn't matter how good you are throughout the regular season. Clemson has your number, and you won't overtake them. So,
well, Clemson has its own issues to deal with.
But Texas A&M was overrated as well. They shouldn't have been as high as 13.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Texas A&M honestly is at a level yet to be considered ranked, let alone be 13. So, yeah, I have to agree on that one. We also had Georgia at number 4 taking on number 7 Auburn. Now, don't forget, Georgia is breaking in a new quarterback with Stetson Bennett, with Jake Fromm going to the NFL. Auburn, though, ended up with some issues early because Auburn ended up having one of their top defenders ejected in the first quarter after a targeting call on a kickoff. So Auburn ended up being behind the ball early and ended up not being able to overcome, ended up losing this one 27-6. Stetson Bennett looked great, 17-28, 240 yards and a touchdown. Very serviceable guy. So still, a lot of hopes for Georgia fans out there.
Yeah, Georgia looked good in this matchup. I feel bad. There was one guy last night in the restaurant we were at watching the football games, one guy with decked out Auburn jersey, Auburn hat, and he sits down.
Poor guy.
And up here in North Florida, it's pretty much you're either Florida or Georgia. and all these Georgia Bulldog fans sit on both tables next to him. So he's kind of sandwiched in between these Georgia fans. And when Georgia started dominating this game, I felt so bad for him as he sinks further and further down in his seat. I wanted to go up and buy him a beer or something because I felt bad for this dude.
Oof, yeah, I probably would have too, honestly. When you see a beatdown like that where you only get literally 2 field goals in the game.
Yeah, well, people don't realize that this Auburn-Georgia matchup has been going on since the 19th century. I mean, it was like 1890-something is when the first matchup was.
This is the 125th meeting.
Yeah, the oldest matchup, and I don't think it gets enough spotlight on this.
No.
But if you go to places like Columbus, Georgia, there in West Georgia, I mean, this is the game. This is it for them. So I think this has to be more of a spotlight. It got more of it being on prime time last night because of COVID and all these issues, because it kind of usually gets shuffled into the mix with Florida State, or Florida State, Michigan, Ohio State, kind of gets shuffled in that mix on rivalry weekend. So it was good to kind of see it stand alone this week.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny. George Demoy just sent me a picture. Apparently he is watching us on his TV. Guess what, guys? We're on TV. I mean, through Facebook, but hey, we're on TV. I'm not going to lie. It looks pretty good, man. Proud of ourselves. But at the end of the day, though, college football, absolutely crazy. The rankings are going to shake up like no tomorrow once they do release, probably later today. It's going to be insane. But next week's matchups is what's really going to get in. Things are going to get real interesting because there's going to be a lot of key matchups, a lot of big games. Some teams even returning in the case of Notre Dame. But definitely you're going to be seeing Florida versus Texas A&M, Tennessee, Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma. So many big games on slate next weekend.
Yeah, which game are you looking most forward to next week as I scan through it?
Well, other than Notre Dame coming back to take on Florida State and getting back at it in South Bend will be awesome. But honestly, I'm really looking at this Texas-Oklahoma matchup. I know both teams now are losers, so it kind of takes away the luster, but the Red River rivalry is always an exciting game to watch, and I think could prove to be one of the better games of the entire weekend. Which one are you looking at?
Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah, I know, right? Right.
I'm looking at the late night matchup. Kicks off at 7:30 on ABC. Clemson, number 1, taking on Miami, number 8. And obviously those rankings are going to change, except Clemson. Miami might move up a few spots with the Texas loss. But Miami, Clemson, this is your chance, Miami. I'm putting it out there. This is your chance to show that you're legit, show that your swagger, quote unquote, is back. If you do not show up and you lay a goose egg out in this one against Clemson, you drop them out of the rankings, just free fall, because this is your chance to show up. I'm going to say the same thing about UCF. You do not deserve to be ranked after that showing last night. I'm going to put that out there, and I know a lot of people are going to be angry with me at that, but you got to show up when the brights are light.
I have to agree.
Miami Clemson, I think that's going to be a hell of a matchup. Another one I'm looking at, and you mentioned Notre Dame, that's going to be a snoozer because Florida State can't get it.
I'm going to enjoy it. I want to see another USF rematch right here. You know, I want to see another 52-0 in this game.
Another one I'm interested in is, and this seems odd, but is the Arkansas-Auburn matchup.
Ooh.
Arkansas coming off of a high after beating Mississippi State. Auburn obviously coming off of a loss against Georgia last night in tough fashion. So who takes the upper hand in this? Are you going to go with the team that has the high, or are you going to go with Auburn that just got humiliated by Georgia? And I think Auburn's going to put it to Arkansas, but Arkansas, I don't know. They may be able to pull off something.
It really depends upon the mindset of Auburn going into this game. Auburn, luckily, though, will be in Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, so at least they'll be at home. But Arkansas, I mean, that's a dangerous team to look at right now, so we'll definitely see how that shakes out. But, yeah, the Clemson-Miami game, a lot of people are excited for and probably would consider the game of the week. I'm kind of hoping both teams somehow find a way to both lose so it can just help Notre Dame at the end of the day and we can take the lead in the ACC. But honestly, between Clemson and Miami is a much more talented team than they have been in recent years. However, Clemson is still the better team, I believe. However, I also would like to see Clemson win because I'd like them to be undefeated when they come to South Bend when they lose to the Irish. So, let's go Clemson. I want to beat you when you're undefeated.
Are you sleeping over there? Are you daydreaming?
I mean, look at all the Notre Dame gear I have on. Like, come on.
You're daydreaming again. You find that on clearance?
Hey, maybe. Anyways, at the end of the day, though, really, when it comes down to it, the entire ACC comes down to Clemson and Notre Dame. Now, Miami could get themselves into this picture with a good showing or even beating Clemson, but I don't think Miami's going to have enough. But we'll definitely see how a lot of these games go, and we'll recap them all next week on episode 76 of Final Score. Definitely make sure to check back. A lot of great football to be had come next weekend. But at this time, though, we're going to take a moment, and we're going to talk about this great network we're a part of. What's the name of that network? Oh, yeah. Podcast City Network, which you can find on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and now Instagram by searching at Podcast City Net or on Facebook at Podcast City Network. And definitely can find us on all different other platforms, Twitch, and of course on our website, podcastcity.net. So much crazy stuff going on, and I don't even have a graphic made up for this, but I guess we can go ahead and we're going to make the announcement now is that we have brought in our brand spanking new Podcast City Network online shop. So you can go to podcastcity.net/shop and find all of the latest and greatest Podcast City Network apparel and Podcast City Network podcast apparel, including Final Score. So you can get a hat, t-shirt, all kinds of crazy stuff. Go on there and check it out. Podcastcity.net/shop and check out all the great stuff we have there. And if you're a budding podcast or you want to start a podcast, hit up Podcast City Network. It's literally what we do because they offer an array of membership services, including logo design and branding, social media advertising, live podcast hosting, and much, much more. You're also given access to our network of shows to help with cross-promotion, guest, and overall reach, while also becoming a part of our ever-expanding PCN community based on people helping people. Best part? No membership fee. So what are you waiting for? Go to podcastcity.net/join now and join the fastest growing independent podcast network around, Podcast City Network. But now at this time, it's time to switch on over to the good old give or go. And we got some good ones today. I'm telling you, some real good ones today. First off, NFL teams could face suspensions or loss of draft picks for violating COVID protocol. Give or go?
I'm going to give on this one. Are you kidding me, NFL? You have guys out there tackling each other, close quarters with each other, all been tested. Coaches have been tested. Why do the coaches need to wear a face mask? Please explain this to me. This is not baseball where you hold up the glove and go through the play calls. They got the play sheet, hold it in front of the face. They do not need face shields. Everyone has been tested multiple times. This does not make any sense. This is just an image thing. This is a PR stunt.
Well, I would have agreed with that up until this weekend. And seeing what happened this weekend so far with the games being postponed or in threat of being postponed, maybe it is becoming more of an issue. However,
but you got to admit, like, these guys are being tested, correct?
Yeah, they're being tested.
Okay, and multiple times, correct?
Multiple times, yes.
So these infections aren't taking place within the facilities. These are things from outside that they cannot control in their small bubbles that they're in. So it's guys maybe going out to dinner, or maybe a kid goes to school and comes home and is hanging out with dad, and all of a sudden dad tests positive for coronavirus. So it's a lot of stuff happening outside the facility that's coming in. As far as like this image on TV, it's a complete publicity stunt. It is a PR stunt to make the NFL look good. Hey, we're following protocols. We're wearing our masks. We're doing the right thing. Everyone in that stadium on field level has been tested. They shouldn't have to wear masks. This should not be an image thing. This is Roger Goodell going above and beyond like he always does and implementing something that is asinine. It makes no sense.
You know why he does it?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
And he has to feel tough still. So, at the end of the day, he'll just go out there and be like, woo! What I really see with it is that you even have states that are fully reopening. We here in the state of Florida have completely reopened. Phase 3 is in effect. And technically, we can go to 100% capacity at many, many venues and establishments. So it's crazy to me that the NFL is still trying to push this and make it as big of a deal as it is when it really isn't. I can understand trying to be safe, and I get it. I do get trying to be safe. But I think going as far as loss of draft picks, suspensions, over COVID breach, I think is absolutely asinine and ridiculous. It makes no sense whatsoever. And really what you're going to do is hurt your competition on the field, because now those people aren't going to be in play. So you want to give fines, but
I'm interested to see the first team that loses a draft pick and then get lawyers involved, because say you lost the number 1 draft pick in the league. Mm-hmm. And you lose your shot at Trevor Lawrence or some of these top guys that are coming out of the league this year, out of the college football this year, and you lose that number 1 pick, or you lose that 2nd round pick. Mm-hmm. That's a huge, from a financial standpoint, that's a huge loss. Do you imagine drafting Trevor Lawrence and then coming out with Lawrence jerseys the very next season, which will probably be the New York Jets, and coming out with Lawrence jerseys? Guess what? You're going to sell a lot of those jerseys. You're going to sell a lot of that apparel. And if you're starting to take away these draft picks, for a COVID pick, it's probably going to be a late round draft pick. Now that I think about it,
it's not going to be something significant.
Anything significant, but
Still.
This is kind of ridiculous. You have teams like Jags that have basically pocketed the whole draft for this next upcoming draft.
I was about to say
12 or 13 picks in the first couple rounds, but you start taking picks away from them, that teams that desperately need it. There's an issue there.
Yeah, absolutely there is. And it doesn't make any sense to go that far. If you want to give fines, like I said, give fines. But taking draft picks and affecting the outcome of some of these franchises' future, I think is absolutely destructive, reckless, and just absolutely ridiculous. So, Roger Goodell, get your head out your ass, all right? Seriously.
Kind of shifting gears, we had the Clippers with their epic collapse against the Denver Nuggets. Doc Rivers now becomes the new coach for the Philadelphia 76ers. Give her go on this one.
Oh, I'm going to get very briefly on this because this is a big move for Doc Rivers and for the Philadelphia 76ers, who desperately need some real leadership on that court. He agreed to a 5-year deal that was officially announced on Saturday. And literally it was a courting period that only lasted 3 days and announced this 3 days after he left the Clippers. So it's crazy to see how this worked out. And I know that the big thing people are looking at is that who are the 76ers' big rival? The Boston Celtics. Who did Rivers win an NBA title with? The Boston Celtics. So there's storylines all through this that people are going to just drool over and use going into the next season. But on the court, this is huge. Doc Rivers knows how to put a winning team together, as he's proven. He can get these guys to get going. You still got guys like Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. There's talks about possibly really using Tobias Harris more. So there's a lot of things at play here that Doc Rivers can use to be able to create a successful team. So this is a huge, huge boon for the East.
Yeah, but it's Philadelphia, and they'll find a way to screw it up when they get to.
Well, I'm trying to get people excited somehow. They don't have a lot to look forward to right now. The Eagles suck, so.
Yeah. Well, good for Doc Rivers to find this job. I knew he was going to land on his feet somewhere, and it would have happened quickly. I like Doc Rivers, even when he coached the Magic back in the day. So, Rivers.
Oh yeah.
SMU student section. Can you believe this? Gets cleared out due to coronavirus protocols in their big win against Memphis. They knocked down a great team, and you clear out your student section.
Oof! But did you see the video? It was bad. It was like pre-COVID. Nobody wearing, like, people had masks, sure, but no one was wearing it. Everybody had beers and just throwing beers on the field and being crazy, all like it's a concert or something. And it was bad. Now, to go as far as clearing them all out, I don't know about that. You got to look at how SMU Stadium's set up. It's a big grass field, basically, there on that end of the stadium, where everybody just kind of congregates in the student section. So I felt they could have taken a little bit better of an approach, especially during a big game against a ranked opponent. Like, come on, like, really? But they ended up doing that.
If I was still in school, I'd be upset on this one.
Oh yeah.
kids are being gypped to their college experience.
Absolutely. And I feel for them like so hardcore on this one. But the thing I see is that the police gave no quarter whatsoever. Campus police just didn't care. Cleared them out after the first half. When you look in the second half, it actually looks pretty desolate in the student section. So I really do feel for these kids and all these college students, really, because everybody's having to deal with this. I remember watching when Notre Dame gave the beatdown to USF, and you're looking through Notre Dame Stadium. We were only at 20% capacity, and everybody's socially distanced and wearing their mask. And it's like, this isn't Notre Dame football, just like in the Big House. I'm sure it wasn't Michigan football. It's not, the Ohio State football. It's not Florida football. Like, none of these teams are playing in an atmosphere that they are akin to because of freaking COVID. So
no, and I will go on a limb and say this is UCF probably wins that game last night if we actually have home field advantage in the bounce house.
Oh yeah, me and you have been to so many games at the bounce house and know how much that crowd can impact an away team. So, man, they're there. They probably do win that game.
Yep.
So
last give and go, Chris. Tampa Bay Lightning win their second Stanley Cup against the Dallas Stars. Won it in 6 games. What do you think?
Well, we definitely have to give on this because I know I would not be able to make it through this whole episode alive if we did not mention the Tampa Bay Lightning winning their second Stanley Cups and in awesome fashion, dominating Dallas Stars in Game 6, winning 2-0. And, man, hats off to the Lightning. George DeMoya called it. They won it in Game 6. And, hey, Lightning, you guys are Stanley Cup champions. You guys rectified the demons from last season when I said you were going to sweep all the way to the Stanley Cup, but instead you got swept, but now you're Stanley Cup champions. So hats off to you guys.
And did it without Stamkos. Hedman, good on you. Great win. Vasilevsky, you're stopping everything. You're stopping the coronavirus if you need to.
Yeah, right?
So Lightning, to watch them hold it up. But again, not having the fans there, that drove me nuts. I'm like, you're lifting Lord
and they're in
Stanley's
Canada.
Cup. Yes, you're lifting Lord Stanley's Cup, and it's just, you're supposed to have the fans there beating against the board, screaming their heads off. It was good. They did a good job with the fireworks or pyrotechnics or whatever you want to call it. They did a good job with that, presenting it. And they're even holding a boat parade, I heard, in Tampa. To celebrate the Stanley Cup champions and the Lightning. So good on the city of Tampa for holding that boat parade, getting the fans out there to enjoy this Stanley Cup, second Stanley Cup. Last one, in 2004?
2004. So hats off to you guys. So definitely some great stuff. But you know what else is great? Do you know what else is great? It's amazing. It's called PodChaser. You can go on to podchaser.com and search keyword final score. Give us a follow, rating, and review because your daily source of podcast discovery is no longer just Apple Podcasts. They're no longer the only credible place to rate and review podcasts anymore. So you can follow creators, browse every podcast ever, and rate and review episodes. So definitely check them out, podchaser.com. I remember when me and Craig met the actual creators of PodChaser back at PodFest in Orlando in March, how amazing they were. Really smart guys, got really great stuff going on with PodChaser. So definitely make sure to check them out, podchaser.com. However, that does bring us to the week ahead, and we got a few things on tap. Obviously, you're going to be seeing the NBA Finals are going to continue, and we'll definitely be bringing you most likely the results on next episode 76. Also, you can check out Double Dime, brought to you by Fixed Edge and Podcast City Network, live tomorrow at 7 p.m. on Twitter and Periscope. Just search at Fixed Edge and check them out there. Really great guys, really starting to get in a little bit of a groove. Been helping them out, and they've been making strides. What do we have upcoming this week in the Rugby Review, Kevin?
Rugby Review, Finals Week 2. We have those 2 matchups that I'm going to be highlighting next week on the playoffs. And then hopefully I have more details on USARL coming our way. So those 2 things I'm awaiting news on. But go Bunnies. Let's go. You got to root for somebody this week, right? Because your Melbourne Storm are off.
Yeah, we're off this week, so I guess I got to back you guys. I'll back you.
Train.
Let's go Rapidos.
Let's go.
Oh, man, that's great stuff, and we'll definitely have a lot more on that come next week. But also, you can't forget about the Draft Day City Limits Halloween party at City Limits Trap Room in beautiful D-Land, Florida. It's going to be starting at 7 p.m. With live karaoke and all the craziness and fun we'll be having. We'll be having our live Draft Day podcast at 9 p.m. With special guests S Money and M Squared of Double Dime. So definitely come out, check it out. A lot of great stuff. We'll be having a costume contest as well. That'll take place at midnight, sponsored by Steel Fox Firearms, who has given us $500 to give away in the costume contest. So definitely come out. We have 3 categories. You want to know what they are? You got to come out. So definitely come out. Check us out. Going to be a lot of great fun. October 30th, a Friday. Definitely come out and check us out. 2620 North Woodland Boulevard in D-Land, Florida. So definitely going to be some really great stuff. And I can't wait. I know I'm going to get tore up from the floor up because City Limits always takes really great care of us over there. But sadly, that is the end of our episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week for episode 76. Make sure to follow us on social media at PCN Final Score. I know it's a sad UCF upside down today. Sorry, sir. You can't. Not everybody can be Notre Dame. It's okay. But
we're in distress right now. Upside down. We're in distress.
You're in distress. Maybe you bounce back next week. We'll see. But check back next week, episode 76. I'm Chris. That's Kevin. And you guys have just watched Final Score. Y'all have a great night.
Podcast City Network.